I say kick it off, sit start. That's what everybody wants to know. Who are we playing this week? Week 2, obviously. There's still a lot of stuff up in the air. I mean, last week there were a lot of anomalies, like the Packers losing 38-3. You know,
Getting
was that the
whooped
final? 38-3? Yeah. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, they got spanked.
by Jameis.
So it's still pretty early in the season. There's going to be some names now that sound good that later this year we're like, oh my God, I can't believe we ever recommended somebody start that person. But let's roll with it. Who do you got? Who's your favorite? And again, I tried to not pick too big of names, people that you might be considering at flex if you have someone better, because there's a lot of obvious starts, right?
Yes, and this one's probably an obvious start, but
All right,
he didn't perform as well last week as a lot of people I'm sure were expecting. It's Najee Harris. Like they played the Bills last week, who were pretty good. So, I mean, take it with a grain of salt. They did win, which was huge for the Steelers, but like the guy had he played every snap this week. So, I mean, it's very encouraging, only going up from there. And they get Las Vegas this week, who let Tyson and Latavius Murray kind of run all over him. So I'm pretty excited about Najee this week.
Yeah, they did. And Najee was one of those guys. We talked about it. I was between Eckler and Najee, and I ended up going Eckler. But I love Najee Harris. And I think eventually in that offense, like you said, he's on the field every play.
Right.
I mean, come on, take the numbers, right? And last week, I thought the whole offense looked horrible for the most part. Big Ben did not look good. I thought the Bills lost that game for themselves. But I think moving forward, I mean, as long as the game script's in his favor, Najee should get a lot of touches.
Yeah, and that defense is obviously their best side of the ball. So what they want to do, play good defense, not turn it over, let Najee run it a bunch if they have to. Don't let Ben mess this up for you.
No, and man, I can't believe he's still the quarterback there. Like they didn't look to draft anyone this year. Like, what are they doing? Their backups, Mason Rudolph
and Dwayne Haskins. So they picked him up from Washington.
All right.
So they're probably taking a flyer on him.
Yeah, but I agree. I think Najee's going to have a big week, and I think he's going to have a big season. So I'm on board for that. For me, someone that I love, and obviously I'm a little bit biased by this, I'm starting him in my flex this week, is Antonio Brown, the third wide receiver on the Bucs. Last week, he looked like the old Antonio Brown too. The way he was moving in and out of his cuts, burning for a deep ball. I think he went 5 for 120 yards and a touchdown. And honestly, Mike Evans, he was on my do not draft list this year with Godwin and Antonio Brown, because Evans had it was 13 touchdowns last year.
Yeah.
Something ridiculous like that. But the volume wasn't really there for me. So you had to feel there's going to be some negative touchdown regression coming, right?
Yes. There's a lot of mouths to feed there. I do kind of see Evans, though. Back to Evans real quick, is that I think he'll take over more of Gronk's red zone touchdowns. Gronk had 2 last week.
Right. Yeah, you're probably right.
But Tom's always had a weird thing for Antonio Brown. The guy likes him a lot.
He loves the guy. And I get it. Antonio Brown lived with him.
Yeah, he's he's probably the best receiver he's ever played with, but
you're forgetting one guy.
Am I?
Randy Mouse.
Wes Welker.
Mr. Mouse.
True.
Yeah,
I should say in the past 10 years.
Yeah, you're right though. Antonio Brown's got to be a top 3 receiver Tom Brady's ever played with. At least when it comes to full career. But I love him this week. The Eagles ripped up Atlanta last week.
Oh, so they play Atlanta, right?
Right. So Jalen Hurts threw for 260 and 3 touchdowns. Again, you're gonna have the third corner covering AB. I just don't see them being able to do it. And the only way I would be nervous about starting Antonio Brown, Godwin, or Evans is if they get up crazy big early, and then there's just nothing in the second half. But
and you just hope that it's not a rotating thing each week, 1 week.
And it very well could be, but by week 2, we don't know. But either way, I like Antonio Brown this week. And I honestly like him. I like him this season. I think he's going to have a big year.
Me too. 1 second.
Okay. So am I just supposed to entertain these people?
Dance. Do something funny.
Oh no, you're in slow-mo. There you go. You're back.
That's just how I walk. So I did pick another guy that I wanted to start this week that probably hits a little close home to you. I know you have Russ on your team, so I really like DK against Tennessee. So
Okay.
I didn't want to pump you up too much with saying Russ, but yeah, they play the Titans. DeAndre Hopkins went off against them. They gave up the second most points to receivers last week. And Tennessee looks to be a little bit in shambles. I don't know if I buy it totally, but I'm willing to ride with the Seahawks. And they looked pretty good against the Colts too last week.
Yeah. So what's funny is I have Tyler Lockett as one of my starts.
There you go.
Pretty much for the same reason. Tyler Lockett, we'll stick with Arizona, Tennessee. Arizona shredded Tennessee, like we talked about. Kyler went for almost 304 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. So obviously that secondary is just turned around. And for me, I went Tyler Lockett because he did have a couple long catches. He had a long touchdown last week, and he's that guy where he's going to get behind your secondary. So for me, I agree. I think DK needs to have a bounce back week because wasn't he pretty pedestrian last week?
I could find his numbers. I don't know.
Actually, I think he ended up scoring a touchdown, I want to say. But I feel like the first half was looking pretty slow for
him. Yeah, 4 for 16, a touchdown.
4 for 16, a touchdown, which I mean, again, not bad. But yeah. DK is one of those guys where you're nervous he's going to go for 8 catches, 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns every week.
Mm-hmm. And I think Lockett only had 4 catches too, but he was over 100 yards.
Which is what he does. Right. Yep. So, but again, it's going to be open. And Russ, I mean, the Seattle offense is different. They have that new offensive coordinator who wants to open up the book a little bit and let Russ throw. Which, I mean, this could end up last year. I think Russell Wilson had the most passing touchdowns of his career at 40. So I'd like to see him hit that. Let's go for 50. And we have that extra game, right?
And that's with an OC who wanted to run the ball like an exorbitant amount
every play.
And like, instead of letting their best player throw the ball, which
it was unbelievable. But I think we're on board this week. Hell, start all your Seahawks. You guys, Carson, start Chris Carson too. Yeah, love it. All right, what do you got next?
So obviously you're starting.
Start each.
What's that?
One more. Go ahead.
Okay, this guy's obviously a start every week, no matter what. But I just saw the matchup was prime. It's Travis Kelce. He gets Baltimore after Darren Waller tore them to shreds.
Yeah, he did.
Obviously, you're starting all Chiefs skill players that you have.
I might start an offensive line and it flex.
Kyle Long's on the team. Go for it. But yeah, Waller had over 100 yards against them. Baltimore, I don't know how I feel about them. Like, let alone offensively or defensively. Like, they should have won that game on Monday by a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And not even lost in OT. But either way, short week for Baltimore as well. So also concerning.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Baltimore either. I know that's kind of spinning off from where we're at, but just initial thoughts. Lamar Jackson's been one of those guys I've never really been able to figure out. From a fantasy perspective, yeah, he's a monster. But, like, when it comes to an NFL team, is that the guy that's going to win you a Super Bowl, right? And my biggest thing for him is he's one hit away from his whole career never being the same. Look what happened to Robert Griffin III, right? His rookie year, and he got hurt in the playoff game. He was on a miracle run his rookie year. And they made the playoffs, and then he had that knee injury, and he was never the same, man. And Lamar's whole thing is his lateral movement, So, and his arm isn't there for me. So if you get down big with Lamar as your quarterback, and I'm going on a little bit of a tangent, but if, you get down big with Lamar as your quarterback, I don't think he's the guy that's going to be able to bring it back.
And I believe I've seen that he's never beaten the Chiefs yet, which as the top, I mean, not many teams have, of course, but like, if you want to take the next step, you got to kind of beat the best once in a while.
Yep. 100%. So that'll be a good matchup this week too. Moving along, my last start, one of our farm bred boys. Do you know who it's going to be?
If you say George Kittle.
No.
Oh, good.
Come on, man. TJ Hockenson. Tight end.
It's pretty close.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you got the score right. Tight end you. TJ Hockenson, tight end for the Detroit Lions. Last week, Goff was just hammering him with targets. I mean, because one, they don't have anyone on the outside. And two, I don't think Goff would be able to throw it to the outside, even if they had someone available. So for me, I think TJ Hockenson, I think he's going to finish top 3 at tight end this year. I think he might actually finish ahead of Kittle. And I mean, they're playing Green Bay this week, who last week was an anomaly against New Orleans, that bad loss, but I see them needing to throw. I don't know why they wouldn't be, and that should be all year.
Yeah, I agree. Like last week too, they got down big. And they made that big comeback, and they had to throw the ball to come back, which I'm kind of predicting again against Green Bay. I don't think Green Bay will play as badly as they did, like you said.
I don't know.
It's Hockenson and Tyrell Williams are your two top targets. So like, obviously you're going to TJ all the time. Like,
yeah,
I feel really good about him, even though his team's not good, playing him every week, especially this week.
Yeah, I agree. Especially it's such a thin position. It's such a thin position.
Yeah, it falls off really quick at tight end.